Gather close, forgotten souls of the Underhive. Press near the flickering lumen globe, its dim light the only fragile ward against the endless dark that presses in from all sides. I am Halex the Shadow, the voice that lingers in the forgotten corners, the whisper carried in the recycled air of the lower decks. And tonight we turn our gaze upward, not to the spires of the mighty, but to the heart of the Imperium's greatest tragedy, and perhaps its greatest triumph. The Emperor's sons. 20 demigods forged in secrecy, scattered across a hostile galaxy, reclaimed one by one to lead humanity's conquest of the stars, only to shatter that same dream in a storm of betrayal, blood, and fire that still burns 10,000 years later. These are the Primarchs, the 20 progenitors of the Adeptus Astartes, the Space Marine Legions, the Emperor's most audacious creation, and some whisper his most fatal error. But what exactly are the Primarchs? They are far more than men. They are superhuman in every conceivable way, colossal figures of flesh, bone, and unbreakable will, each one a singular masterpiece of genetic artistry and psychic power, towering 10 to 12 feet in height, broader and stronger than any mortal could ever dream, faster than thought, more resilient than adamantium. Their minds blaze with genius that spans strategy, philosophy, invention, and war. Wounds that would fall an entire squad of Astartes heal on a Primarch in hours. Diseases pass them by. Age touches them only lightly, if at all. Each Primarch was crafted as the perfect embodiment of one facet of humanity's potential. One for relentless siege warfare, one for lightning assault, one for unmatched psychic mastery, one for unyielding defense, one for inspiring loyalty that borders on worship. From their gene seed flowed the legions themselves. Every Space Marine carries a fragment of their father's essence, not just in strength and skill, but in temperament, in flaw, and in soul. The Ultramarines inherited Guilliman's meticulous order and logistical brilliance. The Blood Angels carry sanguineous angelic beauty and a terrible curse of rage that hides beneath it. The Space Wolves bear Russ's feral independence and savage joy in battle. The Iron Warriors took Percherawa's speed genius for fortification and destruction. Every legion became a mirror of its Primarch, magnified across thousands of warriors. They were intended to be the ultimate instrument of humanity's ascension. 20 flawless generals to lead the Great Crusade, to purge the galaxy of xenos and superstition, to build an Imperium grounded in reason, science, and indomitable human will. No gods, no blind faith, just enlightened progress under the Emperor's guiding light. Yet half of them fell. Half turned to chaos. Half became demonic monsters whose names are now cursed across the Imperium. And the galaxy has paid the price ever since. Who created them? The Emperor of mankind himself. Deep beneath the Himalayan peaks of ancient Terra, in laboratories hidden from all eyes, long before the Thunder Warriors marched, before the first Custodes stirred in their golden cradles, before even the Unification Wars began, the Emperor began his greatest and most perilous work. Using his own genetic code as the foundation, he crafted 20 unique beings, each one grown in accelerated gestation chambers, woven from primordial gene law, forbidden archaeotech, and secrets no mortal mind could comprehend. Some whisper he drew upon the warp itself, bargaining or stealing essence from the Chaos Gods to give his sons their superhuman edge. No two were alike. Each was sculpted for a specific purpose, a perfect expression of one aspect of war, leadership or human potential. They were his sons in the truest sense, born of his flesh, his vision, his will. But the Chaos Gods were watching, jealous, fearful. They saw the threat these 20 beings represented, a lineage that could sever humanity's dependence of the warp forever. In an act of cosmic malice, the gods struck. A warp rift tore open beneath the Eden Labs. The 20 infant Primarchs, still sealed in their incubation pods, were ripped from Terra and hurled across the galaxy, scattered like seeds on a storm wind to distant, hostile worlds. The Emperor's perfect plan fractured in an instant. He sealed the breach, hid the loss, and turned his gaze to the stars. For centuries, he would search, reclaiming his scattered sons one by one during the Great Crusade, raising them as generals, as heirs, as companions. Yet the worlds that raised them in his absence had already left their mark. Some worlds were barbaric, some civilized, some hellish, and on those worlds the seeds of flaw and future betrayal took root. Stay with me, listeners. The Shadow will guide you now through each son, the loyal, the traitor, the lost, their traits, their legions, their fates. For in their story lies the true tragedy of the Imperium, and the reason the galaxy still burns. We begin with the Loyalists, those 9 who stood by the Emperor to the bitter end, whose legions became the bedrock of the Imperium's defense after the Heresy. Their virtues became legend, their flaws became curses, and their fates, many remain mysteries even now, 10,000 years later. First among them, the Lion L. Johnson, Primarch of the Dark Angels. Found on the death world of Caliban, a forested hell of great beasts and knightly orders, the lion grew feral and solitary, a hunter without equal. He learned war from the monsters he slew, leadership from the knightly brotherhoods he united. When the Emperor came, the lion knelt at once, recognizing a greater predator. He was secretive by nature, paranoid, unforgiving, a master strategist who preferred shadow to open battle. His legion, the Dark Angels, inherited their darkness, unmatched in disciplined warfare, but burdened with secrets that guard to this day. The fallen haunt them, a shame buried so deep it shapes every action. The lion himself vanished after the Heresy, sleeping in the depths of the rock until his recent awakening in the 42nd millennium. Ruthless, judgmental, he now prowls Imperium Nihilus, hunting traitors with the same cold precision he once turned on beasts. Next, Jagatai Khan, the Warhawk, Primarch of the White Scars. Raised on the open plains of Shogoris Mundus, Planus, a world of nomadic tribes and endless horsemen, the Khan learned speed above all. Freedom, the joy of the hunt, united the tribes not through conquest alone, but through sheer velocity. No enemy could outrun his laughter on the wind. He despised stagnation, bureaucracy, anything that chained the spirit. His legion became masters of lightning warfare, hit-and-run assaults, bike charges, joy in motion. The White Scars carry that wild independence still, laughing as they ride into battle. The Khan himself disappeared into the webway after the Heresy, chasing dark Eldar raiders. Some say still rides somewhere beyond reality, searching for a way back, or perhaps embracing the freedom of the unknown. Then Leman Russ, the Wolf King, Primarch of the Space Wolves. Dropped on Fenris, a frozen death world of ice, sea monsters, and saga-telling tribes, Russ was raised by wolves before men found him. He became the ultimate savage king, fierce, loyal, joyous in battle and drink. He united Fenris through strength and story, turning warriors into a pack bound by brotherhood. He hated pretense, loved directness, and carried a primal fury that made him the Emperor's executioner. His legion inherited that feral joy. The Space Wolves are savage berserkers who fight with axe and fang, unbound by the Codex, telling tales around the fire after victory. Russ vanished after the Heresy, claiming he heard the call of destiny in the Eye of Terror. His sons still wait for the wolf time when he will return at the Imperium's darkest hour. Rogel Dawn, the Unyielding, Primarch of the Imperial Fists. Found on Inuit, a frozen hive world of discipline and duty, Dawn grew among ice and stone, building fortresses against the cold. He was stoic, unflinching, embodiment of defense. When the Emperor came, Dawn simply asked how would he serve. He was the master builder, the unbreakable wall. No siege could crack him. His legion became siege experts without peer. Pain-gloved initiates who feel no fear, masters of fortification and attrition warfare. The Imperial Fists carried Dawn's stubborn endurance still. Dawn himself was lost after the Heresy, presumed dead defending the Emperor's retreat from the Iron Cage against Perturabo. Some say his hand was found on a Chaos altar, but his sons refused to believe their father truly fell. Sanguinius, the Angel, Primarch of the Blood Angels. Landed on unveil, a radioactive wasteland of mutants and tribes. Sanguinius emerged with vast white wings, beautiful beyond mortal comprehension. He united the blood-drinking tribes not through fear, but through hope, showing them a better way. He was perfection incarnate, noble, compassionate, visionary. Yet he carried a terrible flaw, visions of his own death at Horus's hand. His legions inherited his beauty and grace, becoming peerless artisans and assault warriors, but also the red thirst and black rage, genetic curses that turned them into frenzied monsters. Sanguinius died on the vengeful spirit, slain by Horus during the Siege of Terra, his wings broken, his hope crushed. Yet his sacrifice bought the Emperor time. His sons still feel the loss in every battle. Paris Manus, the Gorgon, Primarch of the Iron Ants. Raised on Medusa, a brutal world of clans and mechanical horrors, Paris forged himself in fire, replacing flesh with living metal after slaying a silver worm. He despised weakness above all, believing strength came from iron alone. His legion inherited that hatred of frailty. The Iron Hands replaced flesh with bionics, pursuing mechanical perfection, sometimes to the point of self-loathing. Paris died first among Primarchs, beheaded by Fulgrim at Istvan V. His sons still seek his lost hands, believing they hold the key to ultimate strength. Vulcan, the Lord of Drakes, Primarch of the Salamanders. Dropped on Nocturne, a volcanic death world of craftsmen and endurance trials, Vulcan was reborn in fire again and again, his perpetual nature letting him return from any death. He united the tribes through compassion and protection of the weak. His legion inherited that humanity. The Salamanders are protectors first, using flame and hammer to shield civilians even in the darkest wars. Vulcan vanished after the Heresy, last seen fighting orcs on a doomed world. His sons believe he will return when humanity need him most, forged anew in fire. Corvus Corax, the Raven, Primarch of the Raven Guard. Raised in the slave pits of Lycaeus, a moon prison of brutal overlords, Corax led a rebellion with guerrilla warfare, freeing his people through stealth and precision. His legion became masters of shadow warfare, hit-and-run strikes, infiltration, terror from the dark. They carry Corax's quiet melancholy and guilt. After the Heresy, Corax hunted traitor Primarchs into the Eye of Terror, gaining war powers that twisted him. He vanished, whispering nevermore, but recent whispers say a raven-shadowed figure aids Guilliman. Finally, Rebuti Guilliman, the Avenging Sun, Primarch of the Ultramarines. Found on Macragge, a civilized world of Roman-inspired honor and order, Guilliman was raised as the noble heir, mastering logistics, governance, and war. He built Ultramar into a mini-empire of prosperity before the Emperor arrived. He was the ultimate administrator, practical, organized, visionary. His legions inherited perfect discipline and codex warfare, becoming the template for all post-heresy chapters. Guilliman was mortally wounded by Fulgrim after the Heresy, placed in stasis until his revival in Millennium 42. Now he leads the Indomitus Crusade, horrified by the Imperium's decay, trying to reform what his father built. These nine stood loyal. Their traits shaped their legions into the Imperium's shield. Yet even among the faithful, flaws festered, secrets, curses, disappearances. But the tragedy deepens when he turned to the traitors, those nine that fell. Stay close, listeners. The shadow now descends into darkness, the sons who turned their backs on the Emperor and embraced the gods that wait in the warp. 9 Primarchs fell to the whispers of chaos, their virtues twisted into vices, their legions corrupted onto engines of destruction. These are the traitors, the son who turned on her father, embraced the warp, and ignited the Horus Heresy. Their traits defined their downfall, and their names are now spat as curses across the Imperium. We begin with Fulgrim, the Phoenician, Primarch of the Emperor's Children. Born on Chemos, a polluted mining world of fading beauty and industrial decay, Fulgrim rose as a visionary artist and leader, restoring his world through elegance and perfection. He sought flawlessness in all things: art, war, the human form. When the Emperor arrived, Fulgrim pleaded loyalty with grace, seeing in him the ultimate ideal. His legions inherited that pursuit of perfection. The Emperor's children became elite duelists, masters of swordplay and sonic weaponry, clad in ornate armor that gleamed like jewels. But Fulgrim's pride proved his undoing. During the Lair campaign, he claimed a demonic blade that whispered avengeless sensation. Slaanesh claimed him. His legion evolved into hedonistic monsters, chasing excess through pain and pleasure. Fulgrim slew his brother Ferrus Manus at Istvan, ascended to demonhood, and now lounges in a palace of torment in the warp, his beauty a twisted mask. Next, Perturabo, the Lord of Iron, Primarch of the Iron Warriors. Raised in Olympia, a world of tyrannical city-states and endless siege wars, Perturabo grew bitter, a genius engineer forced into endless thankless toil. He conquered his world through unbreakable fortifications and ruthless attrition, but it left him resentful. The Emperor found him, and Perturabo knelt, hoping for recognition. Instead, he was assigned the dirtiest wars, the grinding sieges no one else wanted. His legion inherited that grim endurance. The Iron Warriors became masters of trench warfare, heavy artillery, and siege breaking, clad in acid-stripped armor. But Perturabo's paranoia and envy festered. Rejected by Dawn, slighted by the Emperor, he turned to Horus. At the Iron Cage, he nearly broke the Imperial fists. Now a demon prince of chaos undivided, he broods in his fortress in the eye, forging wars of endless spite. Then Conrad Kurz, the Night Hunter, Primarch of the Night Lords, landed on Nostromo, a night-shrouded hive world of crime and corruption. Kurz survived as a vigilant killer, playing criminals and broadcasting their screams to instill terror. He ruled through fear, bringing a fragile peace. The Emperor came and Kurz joined, seeing justice in his vision. His legion inherited that sadistic terror. The Night Lords became masters of psychological warfare, skinning foes alive, using screams and shadows to break enemies before battle. But Kurz's vision of his own death drove him mad. He despised what he became. During the Heresy, he tormented Vulcan and sacked Sagualsa. In the end, he allowed his own assassination by an Imperial agent, proving his fatalistic visions true. His legion splintered into warbands of torturers and raiders. Mortarion, the Death Lord, Primarch of the Death Guard, dropped on Barbarous, a toxic world ruined by necromantic overlords. Mortarion endured poison, mists, and slavery, leading to a rebellion of hardy survivors with scythe and endurance. The Emperor arrived just as Mortarion faced the final overlord, slaying it himself and robbing Mortarion of his victory. Resentful, he joined anyway. His legion inherited that grim resilience. The Death Guard became unbreakable plague walkers, marching through toxins and attrition wars. Mortarion aided psychers and tyranny. Nurgle exploited that, corrupting him during the Heresy with endless disease. Now a bloated demon, Prince of Rot, he spreads grandfather Nurgle's gifts from the plague planet, his legion a festering horde. Magnus the Red, the Crimson King, Primarch of the Thousand Suns, found on Prospero, a paradise of scholars and psychers. Magnus grew as one-eyed sorcery giant, mastering the warp secrets and building a library of forbidden knowledge. The Emperor reunited with them, warning against sorcery's dangers. Magnus ignored it, delving deeper. His legions inherited that psychic prowess. The Thousand Suns became elite sorcerers, but cursed with the flesh-change mutations. At the Council of Nicaea, the Emperor banned psychers, humiliating Magnus. In desperation, he shattered the webway to warn of Horus's betrayal, dooming Terra to demon incursions. Tzeentch claimed him. His legions turned to dust, armored rubric marines. Now a demon prince of change, Magnus schemes from the planet of sorcerers. Angron, the Red Angel, Primarch of the World Eaters. Implanted with butcher's nails on New Syria, the gladiatorial hell, Angron led a slave revolt, his mind shattered by agony implants that drove him to rage. The Emperor teleported him away mid revolt, abandoning his comrades to die. Angron never forgave him. His legion inherited that fury. The World Eaters became berserkers, implanting nails to match their father. Khorne called to his endless anger. During the Heresy, he became a blood-soaked demon prince, rampaging without cease. His legion devolved into skull-taking maniacs. Alpharius Omegon, the Hydra, Primarch of the Alpha Legion. The twins landed on unknown worlds, reunited in shadows, masters of deception, infiltration, and espionage. Their origins are lies upon lies. The Emperor found them last. Or did they find him? Their legions became ghosts, experts in sabotage, false flags, and I am the Alpharius. Their loyalty a riddle. Some say they fought for chaos, others whisper they sabotaged the traitors from within. One twin died to dawn, The other vanished, their legions splintered in endless intrigue. Logar Aurelian, the Urizen, Primarch of the Word Bearers. Raised on Colchis, a theocratic world of zealots, Logar became a prophet, preaching unity through faith. The Emperor rejected his divinity, ordering monarchy erased. Broken, Logar sought true gods. The Word Bearers inherited fanaticism, missionaries of chaos, building altars and summoning demons. Logar ascended to demonhood, now a golden-tongued preacher in the eye, his legions the architects of galactic corruption. Finally, Horus Lupercal, the War Master, Primarch of the Lunar Wolves and Sons of Horus. Raised on Chtonia, a gang-ridden hive, Horus became the ultimate leader, charismatic and ambitious. First found by the Emperor, he was favored above all. His legion embodied victory, relentless assault, brotherhood. But on Davin, wounded and tempted, the Chaos Gods promised him the throne. He fell hardest, leading the Heresy, slaying Sanguinius, mortally wounding the Emperor. His soul shattered. His legions became the Black Legions under Abaddon. These 9 fell. Their traits became weapons against the Imperium. Their betrayal echoes eternally. But 2 Primarchs remain shrouded. The lost, the forgotten, purged from records. Their names erased from every record. Their legions absorbed into others. Their history scrubbed clean. What we know is fragments, whispers from the deepest vaults, hints in ancient texts that the Inquisition burns on sight. They were created like the others, forged in the Emperor's labs, scattered by chaos, reclaimed during the Crusade. But something went terribly wrong. One may have fallen to mutation or Xenos influence, a flaw so profound the Emperor deemed them irredeemable. The other, perhaps rebellion, or madness, or a truth too dangerous to live. Ross himself, the Wolf King, hints at executing one, calling it the Emperor's will. Guilliman speaks of tragic necessity. Even the traitors avoid their mention, as if invoking them invites oblivion. Their legions were disbanded, their gene seed locked away or destroyed. No statues honor them, no sagas sing their deeds. They are the Imperium's deepest shame, a reminder that even the Emperor's perfect creations could fail so utterly that history itself must forget them. And so the 20 sons are accounted for, 9 loyal, standing as pillars of the Imperium, even in death or absence, 9 fallen, twisted into demonic tyrants whose corruption festers in the warp, and 2 erased, as if they never were. This is the tragedy of the Primarchs, my weary souls. Forged to elevate humanity, they became its mirror, flawed, divided, doomed to eternal war. The Emperor's dream of unity shattered by his own creations. Was he a visionary father, or a blind creator who sowed the seeds of his own downfall? The shadow leaves that for you to ponder as the lumen fades. If these tales of the Emperor's son have stirred the embers in your soul, if loyalty calls to you like Guilliman's Codex, or betrayal whispers like Logar's sermons, then reach for the device before you. Like if a Primarch's fate haunts you, subscribe and ring the bell. The Underhive hungers for more voices in the dark. Comment below which son is your favorite, the noble Sanguinius, the furious Angron, the lost second or 11th. Loyalist or traitor, who was the best leader and who the worst? In the Emperor's name, or in spite of it, the Shadow will answer your calls in the next tale. Until then, survive the night. The lumen gutters out.